They don't respect you because you let them. Machiavelli warned us about this. There will come a day when they look at you and realize the mistake they made. The friends who dismissed you, the rivals who mocked you, the ones who whispered that you'd never rise. They will regret ever doubting you, because in this world, respect is not given, it is engineered. And today, I'll show you how to make them choke on their disbelief, using a principle older than empires, Machiavelli's dark law of power. One, the problem of doubt and weak perception. They will never tell you this, but the world does not see you as you are, it sees what you appear to be. The moment you step into a room, judgment begins silent, immediate, ruthless. They weigh your tone, your posture, your confidence, and in that instant, most people decide your worth before you've even spoken a word. That is the first battlefield perception. You may think your talent, your effort, your heart will make them believe in you. You may think if you're good enough, kind enough, patient enough, they will finally see what you bring, but they won't. The human mind is lazy, it doesn't search for depth. It settles for the surface. It's easier for them to doubt you than to understand you. So they label you quickly, harmless, soft, unimportant. They see the silence in you and mistake it for weakness. They see restraint and call it fear. They see humility and assume it means surrender. But here's the truth. Machiavelli would whisper in your ear if he stood beside you now. The world only respects power when it is visible or when it is felt. When they cannot feel your strength, they treat you like you have none. That's the disease of doubt. It's contagious, it spreads quickly, and it infects you. Perception, it starts small. They overlook your ideas, they speak over your words, they dismiss your efforts. You tell yourself it's temporary, that they'll see soon, but they don't. They grow bolder, confident in your quiet compliance. And every time you stay silent, every time you try to explain yourself, you feed their illusion that you are beneath them. Power does not explain itself, weakness does. You've been told that patience will make people understand you. You've been told that if you just stay true, recognition will come. But that's a fairy tale written for the obedient. In the real world, perception shapes destiny. The one they underestimate today is the one they'll step over tomorrow. And that's where your war begins, not with their words, but with how they see you. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must not rely on others to define him. A prince, he said, must control his image as tightly as his army. Because if people believe you are strong, they will not test your strength. If they believe you are weak, they will test it endlessly. And so the game is not about who you are, it's about what they believe you are. Now, let me tell you something most won't admit. People don't just doubt you because they think you can't win, they doubt you because it comforts them. Your potential threatens the balance they depend on. Your ambition exposes their stagnation. Doubt is their defense mechanism. It's how they keep themselves safe from the uncomfortable truth that you might rise higher than them. So they wrap you in mockery, in disbelief, in polite indifference, hoping it keeps you small. But this is where your power begins to simmer beneath the surface. Because every time they overlook you, they hand you a gift, invisibility. And invisibility, when mastered, is a weapon. You can study them without being seen, move without being watched, plan without being suspected. The underestimated man can move like a ghost while everyone else sleeps. The weak perception they've built of you is not your curse, it's your cover. You are not being ignored. You are being positioned. The doubt surrounding you can be turned into a cloak that shields your preparation. Because when no one expects your rise, no one interferes with it. Still, understand this doubt has weight. It presses on your mind, makes you question yourself, tempts you to prove them wrong too soon, and that's the trap. They want you to react emotionally, to waste your energy trying to convince them. But persuasion is the weapon of the powerless. Real power needs no witness. The ones who are destined to rise, rise quietly. There will be days when the noise of their doubt grows louder than your confidence. Days when you feel invisible, dismissed, irrelevant. But remember, the powerful don't beg to be seen. They create moments that cannot be ignored, and the silence you carry today will one day roar so loudly that it drowns out every voice that ever doubted you. The problem is not that they doubt you. The problem is that you've begun to doubt yourself because they do. That is how weakness begins, not from lack of strength, but from allowing others to define its meaning. Every empire begins as a rumor no one believes in. Every revolution starts with laughter. Every great rise begins in the shadow of disbelief. They think you are harmless. They think you are small. They think they've seen all you can be. To the Niccolò Machiavelli's dark truth, there is a rule older than morality itself. A rule that every conqueror, every king, every master of power had obeyed, whether they admitted it or not. Machiavelli called it the essence of rule. The appearance of power is more important than power itself, because in the theater of human ambition, perception is currency and silence is your sharpest blade. He warned, never announce power, never explain dominance, never broadcast your rise. Those who declare their strength reveal the limits of it. Those who speak of revenge display uncertainty. The truly powerful speak little, not because they cannot, but because they understand that mystery commands more respect than confession ever could. When you tell the world your plans, you invite them to interfere. When you show your hunger, you awaken their fear, and fear turns allies into obstacles, friends into spies. Machiavelli's dark truth is this: the moment people can predict you, they can control you. Therefore, concealment is not cowardice. It is the strategy of rulers. Observe how the lion hunts. It doesn't roar before it strikes. It waits. It studies. It lets its prey wander closer, unaware that death is already watching. The roar comes only when victory is certain. That's how power should move: quiet in planning, thunderous in execution. Most people do the opposite. They talk before they act. They brag before they've built. They seek validation before victory, and in doing so, they give away every advantage. They alert the world to their ambition and expose their vulnerabilities before they've even begun. Machiavelli would call that the behavior of the doomed, those who confuse attention for power, those who mistake noise for respect. Real power is silent because it does not need permission. When you are truly rising, you do not announce your ascent. The world will sense it. They will feel it in your detachment, in your discipline, in your refusal to seek approval. The quieter you become, the more others will begin to whisper. They'll sense a change they cannot name, and that uncertainty becomes your shadow army. In Machiavelli's eyes, power should be like a storm behind the clouds, unseen, but always felt. People must suspect your strength but never measure it. They must wonder about your next move but never predict it. That's how rulers survive revolutions, how generals win wars before they're fought. The fear of the unknown is far greater than the fear of the visible. Let them see fragments of your power, just enough to keep them guessing. The greatest tacticians reveal only what strengthens illusion. When you appear stronger than you are, the wise will avoid challenging you. When you appear weaker than you are, the arrogant will expose themselves. The art lies in choosing which mask to wear. Machiavelli believed that every man wears two faces, the one the world sees and the one that rules in silence. The second face is the one that truly matters. It plans when others sleep. It forgives nothing. It learns, it adapts, it manipulates. The public face wins favor, but the hidden one wins empires. The law is not about deception for its own sake, it's about protection. The more people know about your mind, your fears, your intentions, the more power they have over you. Keep them uncertain, and they will tread carefully around your silence. Let them believe what they wish. Belief is a chain, and you decide who wears it. Every ruler from Caesar to Napoleon understood this. Power that must shout is already bleeding. Power that whispers controls the room. When you remain composed while others seek attention, you create contrast, and contrast breeds awe. People may not understand you, but they will sense something dangerous in your restraint. That's when respect becomes instinctive, almost primal. The world is full of those who crave attention because they mistake it for validation. But Machiavelli's disciples know that attention is a liability. The moment you become visible, you become vulnerable. The crowd will study you, analyze you, envy you, plot against you. The louder your rise, the louder their schemes. That is why the wise build in silence and let their success announce itself like a verdict, not a request. Understand this. Your enemies will always look for signals, a sign that you're struggling, a crack in your composure, an emotional outburst they can exploit. Give them nothing. Power grows in the void where information dies. When they cannot read you, they will hesitate, and hesitation is the first form of defeat. Rule your world, you must learn to appear calm even in chaos, confident even in doubt. Machiavelli would tell you it is not enough to be powerful, you must look inevitable, because inevitability is the ultimate illusion of power. When people believe your rise cannot be stopped, they no longer resist, they submit, so you do not declare victory. You let it emerge naturally, as if the universe itself willed it. You do not say, I will win. You simply win and let silence deliver the message, because when silence speaks, the world listens more closely than it ever did to your words. You are not here to convince, you are here to become undeniable. The quieter you become, the more others will begin to whisper. If these words strike something inside you, pause for a moment, look around, ask yourself how many have doubted you this year, how many have mistaken your silence. Surrender. This message isn't just a story, it's a strategy. And if you're ready to turn that quiet fire into command, then stay here, because what comes next isn't motivation, it's instruction. Subscribe to this voice, not for comfort, but for clarity. Every lesson that follows is designed to sharpen your mind the way power sharpens a blade. So if you're tired of being overlooked, if you're ready to learn how to make them feel your presence without a single word, stay until the end. This is where transformation begins and hesitation ends. Now let's return to the law. The truth is, the moment you stop caring, they start fearing. 3. The strategy from shadow to supremacy. Every rise begins in silence. Not in the roar of ambition, not in the noise of public praise, but in the quiet corners where no one is watching. Power does not grow under sunlight, it grows in the dark, hidden from the eyes that would destroy it before it matures. Machiavelli understood this truth. To rule, you must first master concealment. Before power can command, it must prepare. When the world doubts you, it's tempting to fight back, to shout your worth, to demand they see what you're building, but that's emotion, not strategy. And emotion is a luxury the powerful cannot afford. The wise retreat, not in defeat, but in design. You disappear from their sight, so you can reappear on your own terms. The silence between who you are and who you're becoming, that's the forge where power is made. Withdraw, not from life, but from distraction. Not from people, but from those who feed on your energy and offer nothing in return. The shadow is your ally. It gives you space to refine yourself while your enemies waste their strength performing for attention. The world is loud with mediocrity. Those who cannot master silence are doomed to chase it. In this stage, you learn to observe like a strategist. You begin to see patterns in behavior, motives in smiles, weakness in confidence. You study without reacting. You train without announcing. You fail without witnesses. That's how you become untouchable, by removing the audience that feeds on your vulnerability. Machiavelli would call this controlling the theater. You decide when the curtain rises, not them. Every empire has a season of invisibility, a time when even those closest to you doubt your direction. That's when most break, because they mistake solitude for stagnation. But the truth is, isolation is not the absence of progress. It's the birthplace of precision. The storm that destroys the weak is the same silence that builds the strong. While they mock your stillness, you are sharpening your edge. While they repeat the same patterns, you are rewriting yours. Every day in silence adds weight to your future strike, because when you finally act, it won't be with effort, it will be with inevitability. That's the essence of supremacy, not speed, but certainty. You must also learn patience that borders on cruelty, the kind that watches doubt turn into regret without rushing the process. When you move too soon, you interrupt your own transformation. The seed that forces itself to bloom early never survives the storm. So let them believe they've won. Let them enjoy their illusion of superiority. Every second they underestimate you is another second of freedom to build unopposed. And when you return, do not return loudly. Don't warn them, don't explain, don't justify. Appear like a shadow breaking form, calm, unstoppable, undeniable. When the world finally notices, it should feel less like your comeback and more like your arrival. That's the power of silent evolution. You never announce your change, you let them trip over it. In your silence, collect weapons they cannot see: skill, discipline, composure, intelligence. These are the tools of power that make noise irrelevant. While others compete for validation, you train for domination. While they chase applause, you craft inevitability. The world rewards those who know how to wait until their power becomes too obvious to ignore. Remember, the weak rush to prove themselves because they fear being forgotten. The powerful wait because they know their time cannot be denied. Every second of restraint adds tension to the final reveal. That tension becomes fear, and fear is the purest form of respect. So build quietly, learn relentlessly, fail privately, succeed silently, because when you rise,